we exposed ourselves, the support group exposed ourselves with all the activities that we've been doing. Like we have the spiritual care. It started off with face-to-face. The pandemic wasn't around yet. And ever since the pandemic, we did Zoom. And after this day, it's been going on. And of course, the activities that we've been doing around the south of Metro, wherein Crimson discovered us. Right? And through that, they communicated with us because we are so thankful that we have this support group, that we were able to reach out to others. And there you go, Crimson, lovingly, graciously, with all their love and passion. That's why I guess it's called passionate. Okay? Passion to be able to help others, not only from our point, not only from where the cancer conquerors are coming from, but also for those who would like to share our heart and information with regard to breast cancer. Because breast cancer definitely is caught when you early detect it. And that's exactly what Crimson and Project Link are trying to tell others, that we should be able to live in the body, right? So that we will be able to share with all the activities that Crimson has right now, we will be able to share it with others so that they will also be informed that breast cancer, there's a cure. Breast cancer starts off with stage 0. And if you tell others to have themselves checked, not to be scared with it, it's really going to be dealt with it very well. So that's how we started off. Exposing ourselves, having a grateful heart, coming from the Crimson family and team, and 7 years happened afterwards.
And at the core of this campaign, and also the work of Stage Zero, is definitely education. I admit I'm someone who is not always getting myself checked. I'm a perfect audience today. It's good for me to be hosting this panel, and I hope that more of us are also going to be getting our mammograms more often. And so, with the core of our campaign being education, can you also tell us about how, of course, you already touched on how important it is, but what are some of the programs that have proven effective in raising awareness? So would you like to answer, or any of them, or Joy?
Yeah, good afternoon to everyone. So we're happy to be here. Regarding that question, I'd like to say that it is very interesting to know that there is high incidences of breast cancer in the Philippines, and it is even reported that the Philippines have the highest incidences of the cases of cancer in Asia. So with that, it's not only incidences but mortality also. Mortality is high. So with that kind of situation that we are in, there were advocacy groups that were established during the past years to advocate the early detection of breast cancer through self-breast exam and screening by medical practitioner. So because with that, the advocacy group was able to send out the message that that women should have their breast checks checked regularly, and see to it that they will be detected early, since breast cancer is really treatable, and by having it treated at an early stage, we can will be able to save more lives. So another thing is that as Project B, aside from our mission of empowering women, women that have breast cancer, we also aim to educate women to have their breast health examination regularly for their protection and wellness. And aside from that, it is good Cancer Awareness Month. This is that's every October, no? This is to provide encouragement or give more information to women that they should really have their breast regularly, and also to have that what we call breast self-examination and screening. It is also good to mention that because of the celebrating the breast cancer awareness month yearly, we have free breast clinic situated all around the Philippines, and this provide encouragement to women to have their breast checked by professional doctors, and at the same time so that they will be more protected and be well as well. And aside from that, we have also now the support of the government. Different LGUs are now having their free breast cancer mammogram and also assisting their baby constituents who have their treatments when they are diagnosed by breast cancer. And we have the field health DOH who can provide the necessary financial support to them. And I would say that we have really increased awareness or raised awareness of early detection through breast self-examination and screening through the years. Unlike 15 years or 20 years ago, unknown facts about breast cancer and how to handle it, especially the what, the how, and why of early detection.
Thank you for that. And so again, awareness is key, and also it's good to hear that LGUs are very supportive of stage 0 as well, that there are free and also accessible breast examinations that are being done by professionals. And I was doing some research earlier, and worldwide, it says that in 2020, this is data from the World Health Organization, that just in 2020, we have 2.3 million women who have been diagnosed with breast cancer worldwide, and there have been 685,000 deaths. So that's a lot. That's still a lot. And although we've been hearing a lot as well that there have been a lot of improvements when it comes to detection and when it comes to treating breast cancer. And of course, we have Dr. Alvin, who also has a lot of insights when it comes to this. So, Dr. may we ask, what recent advancements in breast cancer treatment have shown promising results, and how widely available are they here in the Philippines?
Good afternoon, everybody. Yeah. Okay, so like Mel said, and early detection is key. If we're able to diagnose cancer early, you have many options available to you. Unlike when you get diagnosed late, more often than not, you will lose your breast. But if you get diagnosed early, you have the option of preserving the breast. So you still have a breast that looks good. Before, we used to remove all the lymph nodes. When you did that, one of the side effects is the arm starts to swell. Nowadays, we don't need to remove all the lymph nodes. We just remove the first few lymph nodes and have it checked. And if you're diagnosed early, most of the time it's negative. This is your sentinel node biopsy. And if you have that done, your arm will not swell. So that's another advantage of getting diagnosed early. Another option is if you don't want to have radiotherapy and you want to have your breast removed, we can reconstruct immediately. So you don't need to come out of the operating room with no breast or with a flat chest. You can remove the breast and put in and reconstruct the breast immediately. So when you come out, the breast is fine and you've been treated. These options were not available to women before. Nowadays, it's very common, we offer it, and they will become options for you if you get diagnosed early. If you get diagnosed late, you cannot give all these options to you. And this is what's very important about early detection. All these options that I have mentioned are available here in the Philippines. You don't need to go abroad for treatment. You have it all here. One of the latest technologies cases before we used, or up to now, we do radiation treatment, we have to go to the hospital 33 times to have radiation. Now we can offer it during the surgery. So when we remove the lump, we put in this ball from the machine, and we deliver the radiation during the surgery. And if you're diagnosed early, that's the only dose needed. So there's so many advantages with being diagnosed.
Thank you, Doc. That really puts a lot of things in perspective. A lot of us are afraid of going to the doctor. As I said earlier, we try to avoid, because a lot of us, we can like, oh, ignorance is bliss, we don't know anything, it doesn't really exist. But when it comes to cancer, of course, as we are learning today, early detection is very, very important. And I want to move on to one of our survivors, Ms. Vicky Tobiano. So maybe you can share a specific moment or period during your breast cancer journey that showcased your resilience and your determination.
So before we start, I'd like to thank Crimson for this opportunity and of course the Stage Zero. Being here today, when I was in the back, I was so emotional. Seeing all the conquerors, the survivors, it gives me so much hope. To share with you, my mom and I had cancer 2 months apart, and that was so hard for my whole family. And you were asking me, what was the most difficult part in having cancer at the time? What lessons I had? When I had to leave for chemotherapy, see the fear in my children's eyes. My kids were so young then. You could see the back of their mind. Will mommy come home again? Will I see mommy again? I was a single mom when I had cancer, and it wasn't easy. But because of support and I see now Stage Zero, it makes a huge difference. And that was the time I picked up on my faith. That I realized there's no big problem because I have a bigger heart.
Thank you so much for sharing that with us. And any of our survivors also who would like to share, what were some of the moments where you feel like you were able to showcase your resilience and your determination during the time when you were conquering cancer? And I love how you're rewording that. We used to say some years ago, cancer warrior, cancer warrior. But I think hearing people say cancer conqueror, it's like you're manifesting it, that you're going to be able to survive this. So, would anybody else like to share?
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for inviting the project Stage Zero to this event. I enjoyed doing that and I'd like to share my experience. 2004, I had hysterectomy. So that itself was a bit depressing on my part, being a woman. And then for 2006, I found out that I had cancer. So then I had breast vein on my bedside. Right after my surgery, I felt, or I was thinking, like, I lost my womanhood. I no longer have my womb. I have one breast. And what is life? Sometimes you have to question why. But again, with the help of my husband, with the love of my husband, the support group in my family, I just had to move on. And I was able to conquer the stigma of having cancer, to conquer the stigma of being incomplete. But oh God, as thank you, mentioned, by the grace of God, He made me feel complete. I am complete not because of anything that is needed in us. I am complete because I am a woman fulfilled, a woman who is loved, and a woman who loves God and God loves me. How I am.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And so, we'll touch on support groups in a bit and how important they are, but I also want to ask Dr. what lifestyle changes and preventive measures can individuals adopt to reduce their risk of developing breast cancer? And are you aware of any misconceptions that are going around when it comes to detection and also treatment?
Okay, so there are many risk factors for developing breast cancer. But remember, a risk factor that, oh my God, I have this respect for my dentist. It doesn't work that way. It just makes you more aware so that you can have your checkups regularly, you can examine your breasts, you know, and you can make the lifestyle changes. So out of all the risk factors available, we have number one is age. As you age, your risk increases. This is why most women, when they become 50s, 60s, you know, that's when the cancer comes out. Because as you age, your risk increases. Obviously, if you had cancer before, the chance of you getting it again is there. If you have a first-degree relative with breast cancer, that's also a risk. But remember, it doesn't mean that you have a first-degree relative, you will definitely get breast cancer. Because only 10% of breast cancers are hereditary. 90% is not. So this is why all of us can get it. Okay? It doesn't mean if your mother had it or your aunt had it, hasn't you will get it. Alright? So if you, we know that about 60% of breast cancers are because of the hormone estrogen. So if you menstruated early, which is before 12 years old, or you became menopause late, which is after 55 years old, these are risk factors. Obviously, if you never had a child, that's also a risk factor. Because it means that your menstruation never stopped. So you get exposed to estrogen for a long time. And this is why it becomes a risk. If you are obese, this is also a risk factor because the fat contains a lot of the precursor for estrogen. So if you have a lot of fat cells, your estrogen levels are much higher. So this is why it becomes a risk. Obviously, if you also drink a lot of alcohol, there's also an associated risk. So if you have radiotherapy to the chest for lymphoma, it's also a risk. Not having an X-ray, that doesn't give you cancer or having a mammogram. It's more of radiotherapy to the chest because of lymphoma, because the dose is quite high. So what is modifiable? The only thing really is, obviously you can control your weight so that you're not obese. You can eat a healthy diet, exercise, don't drink a lot. That's what we like to do. Obviously don't smoke because smoking can give you lung cancer and you know. So these are what's within our control. But also another thing which is hard to control, and this is a very significant risk factor, is stress. You know, a lot of the patients I see and I diagnose, something very stressful happened in their life before diagnosis. And it's very, very common. Something very stressful, something maybe their husband died or their child died. You know, something very stressful happened before they died. Stress is very, very important. I know we can't avoid stress. We can use therapy, but it's how you manage the stress. You know, being a warrior doesn't help. Like everybody said, if you just leave it to God, we'll do wonders. You cannot control everything. So what's the point of worrying? So those are the things that are within our control. Obviously the others, it's hard not to control aging. But sometimes, you know, you can't control if you don't get pregnant. You know? So what's within our control? That's what we're talking.
Noted on the alcohol, Doc. Thank you for that. And I hope everybody is taking down this to make ways to do better. Right? But yeah, it's good to take note. It's good to know what are the risk factors that we all have. All of us are at risk, definitely. Everybody who has, I mean, even men also get breast cancer, although rarely, right?
Yes, only 1% of males get breast cancer. So it's quite rare. I have had a few patients, males who had breast cancer. But unfortunate with males is they're in denial because they don't believe that a man can get breast cancer. So a lot of them, when they feel the lump, they dismiss it. And then, which is unfortunate because by the time they get diagnosed, it's late. And you know, they have the perfect chance to get diagnosed early because they don't have breasts. So they just need it right away. But it's the denial.
Thank you for that, Doc. So I want to go back to Achi and ask, how did you channel adversity into opportunities for positive change in your life?
So when I had cancer, it was so difficult. I think this was 10 years ago. And I supported this cause. If you remember Mr. Rudy Fernandez. So Rudy Fernandez passed away from cancer. And during that time, because he was a friend, when we were having chemo, there were still no iPhone, no iPad. So we created a CD for chemotherapy patients. So I'll be more than happy to do it together with my foundation to touch more lives. And today I would like to really acknowledge Crimson together with Carmela. And if we give Crimson a very big round of applause, it's proud to show our courage with the cause. But leading in stage zero with Crimson creates a full difference that we have hope through institutions like Crimson and through stage zero. Thank you so much.
And you also touched on support. So, how did you feel supported during your cancer journey? Before you were able to talk about it, of course, you also had support, family and friends. Can you talk to us how important support is during this time of your life?
Well, when I had cancer and my mom had cancer, first my mom already had her support. We were also depressed. After a month, I was the one who had cancer, so the support was also strong. And I realized it is the friends and the people around you and the church who help you go through. But the fear is undeniable existent. And another thing, I guess, for people who are survivors, one of the things, the challenge, is intimacy during cancer. Because it's something that you don't think about, but we are not the only ones suffering. So I think our family members or our partners, our husband, are suffering twice. And I think support groups should not only be for cancer patients, but also for the families. I think that is the gap we need to address. How do we maintain, sustain intimacy when we have cancer?
I love that you touched on that because that is also something that stage zero provides. Not just supporting our cancer conquerors, but also the family members. So can you tell us a bit more about that? Supporting family from the family. Yes, how you support the family, you support the family. First of all, when I found out that I have cancer, it was my children that I was thinking about, like exactly like that. How are they going to respond to that? Even my husband didn't know anything about cancer. We all didn't know anything about cancer until I was diagnosed. Then I realized on my part, because they were doing their part already, and I could do my part as well, wherein I could see my husband trying to be strong for them and for the children, but of course I knew it in my head that he is also going through it. So as he went through our journey when I was diagnosed, I was also making sure that my family are informed well. My husband was well by the doctor and others that contributed to, and so was our children that we were able to give them the support wherein they can see that mommy and dad are together going through the process. So that one helped very, very much. It's not only about that if you don't have your husband around, I totally believe that the other members of the family can do so. I mean, we know a lot of them here in our cancer support group in that even the kids, the cousins that are present, even neighbors that are very loving and would show their compassion for the whole family. Well, it's a lot coming from the line of diagnosis, and I went through therapy, and I had medical and all this stuff. People around me helped so much, and that makes a lot of difference. So before I move on to Q&A, I know maybe some of you have questions and stuff. I want to ask a question. So we talked about how to go through the cancer journey, how to be a cancer conqueror. But now, what happens after surviving it, right? So beyond the treatment phase, what measures can be taken to enhance the long-term survivorship experience for breast cancer survivors?
Thank you for that. So that's a very important question. What's next? is so important because we still need to monitor. You know, a lot of people think that you just need to go and see the doctor for 5 years. And once you're done in 5 years, you'll survive it, you're okay, and you don't see the doctor anymore. So that's not true. And I tell all my patients, you need to see me for the rest of your life. Okay? Until 5 years and then it's like, okay? Yes, for the rest of your life. I always say, huwag na lang mas bata ko sa'yo. Kasi kung hindi, nauna ako. Okay? It has to be for the rest of your life. It doesn't have to be every month or every 6 months. Once a year is enough, but you have to see your doctor. Because remember, most people still have the breast there, not one breast still there, and we need to monitor that. If you had breast cancer before, you're at risk of having it again. So you still have to monitor that. You have to see how you're doing. You know, you tell us what are the, because it doesn't have to be a problem with the cancer. You may have other problems that can help you with that. You really need to see your doctor. Obviously, knowing that you've gone through this ordeal and survived it, it's important to also change your lifestyle. You know, be more healthy, sleep, you know, longer, no drinking and smoking a lot, you know, you have to change your life. You've been through such a challenging experience. It's now time to be, dramatic. It's now time to be healthy and also try and avoid stress. If you have a very stressful job, maybe it's time to change jobs. You know, or stop completely, which is very hard, but you know, things have to change. Because you've survived this, now we need to maintain it.
Thank you, Doc. So now I'm gonna open the floor for questions. Do we have any questions from our guests? So maybe you're someone who's still going through the journey, you're trying to conquer cancer, or maybe you just want to stay healthy. So right now, while we have Cora, while we have our survivors, especially. So any questions